Hello everyone, welcome to Wicked.west books. My name is Meg West, and today I am going to be creating my TBR for the magical readathon. The O.W.L.s are this month. If you don't know what the O.W.L.s are, they are a series of testing, the first series of testing that goes on in the wonderful world of Harry Potter, and it is the ordinary wizarding levels. And a wonderful booktuber who goes by the name of G at Book Roast on BookTube has created two fantastically magical readathons that go along with the first series of testing, the O.W.L.s, which is this month, and the NEWTs, which is going to be in a few months from now. And she has this magnificent guidebook that she put together for this, and this thing is 35 pages long. This is a huge little booklet that she gives you for free that you can print out for this wonderful magical readathon. And the choices for a career path are practically endless. It has everything from alchemy to librarian and even wand maker. This is G's third year in a row holding this readathon, and every year she adds just a few more careers for you to choose from so that you can always have a brand new choice on what career you want to work towards for your ordinary wizarding level tests. This year I have chosen to go for the spell maker career, and she puts an insane amount of detail into all of these pages, as does a absolute fantastic job with these. So if you want one of these, please print it out. If you want to join, please join. It's an amazingly fun readathon and it lasts all month. So as part of these pages, there is a list of O.W.L.s to read for this month and a list of grades that you have to make for the Newts part of the readathon, which is in a few months, so we'll ignore that for today. For the Spellmaker career, 7 O.W.L.s. I have to take and pass Ancient Ruins, Arithmancy, Astronomy, Charms, Divination, History of Magic, and Transfiguration. Another print off that G has for you is just this adorable little letter from Hogwarts telling you which book reading prompt goes with each class. So top of the list is Ancient Ruins, to read a book with a heart ruin or a heart on the cover. Now I have to find a book with that. So that was just a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but I have found a book with the word heart on the cover. The Heart Forger by Renj Pekka. This is the second book in the Bone Witch trilogy, and I read the Bone Witch either earlier this year or at the end of last year. I think the end of last year, and I absolutely loved it. Loved the magic system, loved the main character, loved that we get to see a slight glimpse of her at the end of the story and have to figure out through reading the books how Tia gets there. So this is the second book in that series, and this will be my Ancient Ruins book. Alright, my second class is Arithmancy, which has a magical quantity of the number 2, balance and opposites. I need to read something that is outside of my favorite genre. My favorite genre is fantasy. I like high fantasy, I like urban fantasy, just everything through fantasy. So I have to find something that's not, and I just had an idea of something that I've been wanting to read cover to cover and have only read little teeny bits of, so that might be a fun one to do. I just gotta find it. For this, I am going to choose a book that I've kind of started, like I mentioned a second ago, before, but have never actually read all the way through. And that book is Dr. Tatiana's Sex Advice to All Creation by Olivia Judson. Now, this book is written in like the style of a newspaper advice columnist, where the animals write in to Dr. Tatiana about issues that they are having with their sex life, and Dr. Tatiana answers them and gives me, the reader, a lot of information about all kinds of sex across the entire animal. Yes, my earring did just break. So third on the list is astronomy. I have to take a night class. I have to read the majority of a book when it is dark outside. So basically, this is a free space. I can pick whatever book I want. I can just only read it. So for this class, I'm actually going to choose Death Doesn't Bargain by Sherilyn McQueen. I know it says Kenyan, but she is really, really trying to divorce her husband for an immense amount of drama, including the fact that he poisoned her. So it's McQueen. And this book is the second book in the Dead Man's Cross series, and it's pirates. It is immortal pirates in love, and the character that I liked the most in the first one is the male love interest in this one, so I am looking forward to it. The next class that I have to take is Charms. The charm for this term is Lumos Maxima, which is to read a book with a white, or mostly white, cover. In an attempt to clean off some of my TBR shelf, I am going to choose Our Chemical Hearts by Kristen Sutherland. I have not a clue what this is about. I bought it for the very, very pretty fishy cover. What I get from the back is that the guy is kind of in love with or obsessed with a girl in his high school. I don't know, but very pretty, and let's see if I can read it this month. My next class is Divination, which is to let the fates decide a book. Actually, let's try this. I'm going to use my dice. So I rolled a 2 and a 6. So I'm going to count on my TBR shelf 8 books, and hopefully it's something interesting. If it is like a second or third book in a series that I have not read, I'm going to take the first book. But let's see what the 8th book on my shelf is. Right. This was almost my choice for read a book during the night because of what it is, but I didn't pick it because it was larger than a book I wanted to use. But the fates have spoken. That book is The Dark Days Club by Allison Goodman. Now, I've heard good reviews on this. When it first came out 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years. It's absolutely gorgeous on the inside. Copyright 2016. This one might be older than I thought it was. But I did read one of her other books when I was in high school, and I really enjoyed the fact that as a perspective of pretending to be a boy, she still had to address the fact that she had periods. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's just a bigger book than I was hoping for a readathon. My next class is History of Magic, and I have already chosen and finished this book. We are a week into April after all. That book is Smoke Bitten by Patricia Briggs. This is the story about a fae-type creature who gets out of Underworld and can turn into anyone, and if it bites you, it takes control of your mind. I really enjoyed this book. It got off to a very sad start, and some of my favorite characters were in absolute peril for the entire thing, but I also predicted the ending. And my final class is Transfiguration, which is to read a book with shapeshifters. This is honestly the next book I'm probably going to read and finish, and I will be rereading The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson for the Read-along, not readathon. I've said readathon so many times during this video. The Cosmere-along. The next book is The Final Empire, otherwise known as Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, which is my favorite series by him. As a current standalone, I love Warbreaker more, but not the point. This book does have shapeshifters in it. They're kind of a bigger part of the plot in the second book than the first book, but there are technically shapeshifters in the first Mistborn book, so I will be reading that for, I think, the 3rd time overall this month. But wait, there's more. Another piece that G added to this readathon this year is the courses, seminars, and training portion. It is a very small portion of this readathon, and it is all bonus work. This is all stuff that you can add if you want to add it. You don't have to, and there are options like Animagus training, Dragon Tamer. You have to have been a magizoologist in order to take dragon training, as well as learn to operate locomotive trains, magical shop management, merpeople linguistics, and legal defense of Fantastic Beasts seminar. I think this is a great idea, and I'm looking at it like things that I would actually want to do when I was at Hogwarts, like I went to Hogwarts. And my two options are, because yes, I want to take 2 bonuses, which means that I will be reading 9 books this month. I want to take the Animagus training, which is a really hard kind of bonus course because it adds 3 courses to whatever you are already taking, and those courses are arithmancy, potions, and transfiguration. I'm already taking 2 of those classes, so technically I only have to take 1 more test in order to get the Animagus training for this readathon. It will take even more for the next round of testing for the NEWTs because I will have to make specific grades in them, and technically I think Animagus training by itself for the NEWTs is 5 books by itself to get the passing grades that you need to be an Animagus, but I want to be an Animagus. What would I turn into? I don't know. I'll figure that out later. But technically, all I have to do for Animagus training is add potions. Potions is a shrinking solution. Read a book under 150 pages. So I want to read the final short story of Legion, which is not the entire book. There are 3 short for Brandon Sanderson stories in this book. I have to juggle because there is a anniversary card in there. Ooh. Ooh. So the third story in this is The Lies of the Beholder, which is the first time I'm hearing that name, and I greatly enjoy that. And this book starts on 247 and goes to 352. Excellent. It's just over 100 pages. This book will work out perfectly. And I'll get to finish one of my favorite series by Brandon Sanderson. I started reading this book before I did any study on DID, but this is kind of sort of a character with DID. It is not. He tells you in the book that he does not have DID because the way that his mind works and the fragments that his mind creates, the alters that his mind creates, he does not have inside his body. He sees them as hallucinations and can communicate with them outside of the body. It is not DID, it is just similar to DID. Basically, he can create those alters whenever he wants to and store whatever information he wants to store in them, which is not how DID works. And Stephen Leeds tells you that in the books, but I still found him an absolutely fascinating character and loved the first 2 books. So I am looking forward to finishing this trilogy in an attempt to be able to turn into an animal. And since 1 extra course was not enough, I also very, very much want to do the mermaid linguistics. I like learning languages. I've been trying to learn German for years and years and years. I get distracted. For merpeople linguistics, I only have to take 1 more course, which means that I'm brought up to 9 books for the month of April, and that course is herbology. I just realized I thought I knew what this prompt was, and it is not that, so I don't have the prompt to read something with a beak on the cover. And I was kind of looking forward to rereading The Children of Amarid by David B. Coe. Anyway, the prompt for herbology is Mimbulus Mimbletonia, which is to read a title that starts with M. So let me see. So for this, I found Magic Bites by Alana Andrews. This is the first book in a new series to me. It is probably urban fantasy and has been compared a lot to the Mercy Thompson novels, as well as like the Dresden Files. It was something that I wanted to give a chance a few years ago and never actually got around to. So this will be my chance to actually get around to it. So yeah, there are my 9 book choices for the magical readathon for this month. I'm gonna go start reading now. So that is going to be it for this video. If you guys are participating and have a TBR, link it down below so that I can look at it, or just comment what you're doing for the magical readathon. I would love to find other people to talk about this with. And if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. I post videos every Wednesday. Have a wicked day.